Good morning, everybody. It is Steve Lookner from Agenda Free TV, and we are here to bring you live coverage this morning as President Trump and Secretary of Defense Hegseth are going to be speaking from the Oval Office to make some sort of announcement. Reuters is reporting that the announcement is going to be about the awarding of the contract for the next generation fighter jet. That's not been confirmed. That's what it's about, but that might be what it's about. We're going to bring you live coverage of that. We're going to take your comments on the air, and going to talk to you about some other news developments here. So I appreciate you joining us. You can write to me on X at Lookner on X, and something else. Where is this? I have another little piece of video I was going to pull up here, if I can. Let's see. Hang on a second here. Hang on a moment. See if I can pull this on the screen for you. I had something else I wanted to show you here. There it is. Okay. Can I get this on the screen? No, that's not what it is. How about right there? This is... Where is this? This is a live shot from the electrical substation in the UK where they had a fire and it caused Heathrow Airport to be closed today. This is this is it right here. The North Hyde electricity substation. Or is this live or is this a tape? This might be I'm confused now. AFP TV, AFP has this. I can't tell if this is live view or recent view from AFP. Anyways, that is the electrical substation right there. Hold on a second. And the actual, is it Hayes? Is it in Hayes? Hayes Fire. Yeah, Hayes, England. That's Hayes, England. Anyways, Shaft thinks it's going to take more than a day to fix. Well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that too. By the way, AFP had reported, I hear some people putting forward theories in the chat as to why this happened. AFP reported about an hour ago, police say currently no indication of foul play behind a substation fire that closed Heathrow Airport. All right, anyways, we can talk about that some more. Yeah, currently no indication of foul play. Here's what police say. Look. UK Police, Metropolitan Police. We are working with London Fire to establish the cause of the fire, which remains under investigation. While there is currently no indication of foul play, we retain an open mind at this time. Given the location of the substation and the impact this has had on critical national infrastructure, the Met's Counterterrorism Command is now leading inquiries. But they're saying there is no indication right now of foul play. JB says when our substation caught fire, it was a squirrel that caused it, and it took a week to get the power back. All right, hold on. I'm already digressing from the topic. 2 minutes into the stream. I don't want to be doing it that fast. Okay, let's first of all talk about what's going on with this announcement. First of all, by the way, let me just thank our moderators for being here. We have I think that was a live shot, by the way. Oh, I have a shot of the airport too. Well, nothing much going on there. We'll talk about that. We have Ruth Krafasi and Sabrina Over there on YouTube moderating, thank you so much. Linda Belk, Larry, Misha on X. Over on Twitch, we have... I got that fire, Surly Dev and Tariag. Thank you. Thanks also Farquad67 for subscribing on Twitch. Thank you. And on Facebook we have modding. Let's see here. Kay Lowry Body. Thank you, Kay, for modding. Thanks to our viewers on Facebook like Paula Thompson, our subscriber Jennifer Ellers, Candidato Lopez, Michelle Williams, and others. All right, so President Trump and Secretary of Defense Hegseth are speaking from the Oval Office. It's scheduled to be 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Maybe it'll start late. I don't know. Pete Hegseth posted on his social media last night, big announcement tomorrow for Department of Defense. President leading the way on future of American power. So that would seem to agree with the reporting saying it's about a next generation fighter jet. When he says it's for the big announcement for the Department of Defense, President leading the way on the future of American power. And here is this Reuters report about it being about the fighter jet. If I can find it here. Right here. Trump to award U.S. Air Force's next generation fighter jet contract Friday, sources say. Irish Sweetness says on today's episode of The Trump Show, Perny says, I'm working right now on that fighter. That picture is an F-22 Raptor, by the way. That's not of the new one. Hold on, let me just do something real quick here. See if I can fix this for you. Okay. So, Reuters reports, President Trump will personally announce the Pentagon's decision on a next-generation fighter jet contract worth at least $20 billion as soon as today, despite concerns about budget constraints and shifting priorities, sources briefed on the plan said. Later in the article, it says this is going to be the announcement. The Next Generation Air Dominance Program, NGAD, will replace Lockheed Martin's F-22 Raptor with a crewed aircraft built to enter combat alongside drones. The plane's design remains a closely held secret, but would most likely include stealthiness, advanced sensors, and cutting-edge engines. Lockheed and Boeing are competing for the winner-take-all engineering and manufacturing development contract worth more than $20 billion. The winner will eventually receive hundreds of billions of dollars in orders over the contract's multi-decade timeline. Why? Lifetime. Wow. For Boeing, a win would mark a sharp reversal of fortunes for a company that has struggled on both the commercial and defense sides of its business. A loss could be devastating. A victory for Lockheed Martin, the world's largest defense contractor, would keep its high-end offerings. It also makes the stealthy F-35 on an upward trajectory. So something to watch for, if this is what the announcement is about, is will it be Boeing or Lockheed Martin? Trump's Friday schedule showed an 11 a.m. Eastern Time Oval Office announcement alongside Secretary of Defense Hegseth. A U.S. official briefed on the plan said the announcement about the next generation fighter jet was slated for that time. NGAD was conceived as a family of systems centered around a sixth-generation fighter to counter near-peer adversaries such as China and Russia. Under President Trump's administration, the program has moved forward after a period of uncertainty that cast doubt on the future of the next-generation fighter jet. Billionaire and presidential advisor Elon Musk has voiced skepticism on the effectiveness of crewed high-end fighters, saying cheaper drones were a better option. Last year, the program faced potential delays or scope reductions because of budget pressures and cost overruns in other Air Force programs. The anticipated announcement today, however, signals a design finalized last year will be chosen for NGAD. All right, so again, Reuters is reporting that this announcement about the awarding of the contract for the next generation fighter jet will be what is announced coming up with President Trump and Secretary of Defense Hegseth from the Oval Office at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, or around 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So we'll have to see if that reporting is true. Irradiated Potato says, sometimes I wonder if war happens more for economics than any other reason. Our viewer, Devin, thinks drone swarms are the future. Jimmy ZNJ says Boeing does a lot of work on amazing work on fighters. Charles Olinger, son of Ricardo Luis Oligares, says terror stealth drones in future. Clavington says Tesla drones, I bet Elon needs a new government contract. Jada Maru thinks cheaper drones probably are a better option. It is interesting in that article where it says that there's some difference of opinion over the next generation of fighters. Again, it said Elon Musk has voiced skepticism on the effectiveness of crewed, meant to carry a crew, high-end fighters, saying cheaper drones were a better option. So that's a big difference from what I understand, is planes meant to have a crew and planes not meant to have a crew. Not Banksy says there's no money in peace. Hey, thanks so much to Shaz2 for the gift membership. So nice of you. And Stephen Roberts gave a bunch of people gift memberships. Thank you, Stephen Roberts. Thanks to both of you. If somebody gave you a gift membership or a gift subscription, please thank them. All right, so we will keep an eye on this. Maybe that's what it's going to be about. All right. Also, I want to talk. Let's talk about Heathrow Airport for a second. I believe this is a live shot, by the way, from Heathrow. This one right here. This is the where is it here? The substation one. Hayes, UK. Hayes, England. Hold on. All right, this is Hayes, England. That is from AFP. That is the substation that caught fire, I think yesterday it was, and Heathrow Airport is shut down all day. So I want to do a quick update on this. I also want to talk about this multiple outlets are claiming that Elon Musk is getting briefed on sensitive war plans against theoretical war plans against China. We'll talk about that too. So you can see here, but Ali C says, glad I'm not flying to London. Also, it wasn't like this thing was known, weeks in advance that this was going to happen. You can see hundreds of thousands of passengers face flight cancellations as Heathrow closes. That's from AP. Hundreds of thousands of passengers faced flight cancellations at Europe's busiest travel hub after a fire knocked out power to the airport, forcing it to close for the day. At least 1,350 flights to and from Heathrow were affected. said Flight Radar 24, including several from U.S. cities. Heathrow, look at this. Oh, the camera's moving around. Heathrow says it does not know when power will be restored, by the way. Oh, it expects disruption to last for days. The airport said it does not have clarity on when power may be reliably restored. It said it expects significant disruption over the coming days, and passengers should not travel to the airport under any circumstances until the airport reopens. Now, I don't know if it's going to reopen tomorrow. Let me also mention this. AP reports while the cause of the fire that shut down Heathrow Airport is still unclear, analysts say the incident raises concerns about the UK's ability to withstand attacks or natural disasters that damage critical infrastructure, such as communications and power networks. It's particularly worrisome given recent comments by Britain's security services that Russia is conducting a reckless campaign of sabotage across Europe, said an expert that AP talked to. This expert said the UK's critical national infrastructure is not sufficiently hardened for anywhere near the level it would need to be to give us confidence this won't happen again. I mean, if one fire can shut down Heathrow's primary systems and then apparently the backup systems as well, it tells you something is badly wrong with our system of management of such disasters, the expert said. The British government says, quote, clearly there are questions to answer about how a single fire could shut down Europe's busiest airport. A spokesperson for Prime Minister Starmer said there must be a rigorous investigation to make sure this scale of disruption does not happen again. Police did say there is no indication so far of foul play. Also, AP reports witnesses describe a fireball and loud explosion from substation blaze. This is near the airport. It's not at the airport. Residents in West London have described hearing a large explosion followed by a fireball and clouds of smoke when a blaze ripped through an electrical substation near Heathrow Airport. A person working the night shift said they saw around 11:30 p.m. smoke rising over trees and a bright flash of white, and all the lights in the town went out. Firefighters brought the blaze under control after 7 hours. They're still working to douse the flames. You can see firefighters on the screen. On the bottom of the screen there on the left, there are firefighters there. Anyways, this is Europe's busiest airport. Closed for the day. I have another shot to show you of this. Hang on a moment. Hang on a moment here. I'll put the other one up on the screen for you. Here is a live shot from Heathrow Airport. Hold on a moment. I'm going to put this on the screen for you if I can get it on the screen here. There. That's actually the airport. That's a live shot of the airport itself. It's pretty quiet there because the airport is closed. Steve G thinks it will be knocked out for days until they reroute power. Bernd Rosgen says this happens. So that's the airport. And again, here is the, let me go back to there is the substation with firefighters still at the substation. One of our viewers said Stansted is going to go overdrive. Glennick says, is Heathrow not part of Europe because the UK is not part of Europe? UK is not part of the EU, which is a particular association of countries, but it's still considered part of Europe. It's a good question. I understand your question. Understandable question. The way Europe is traditionally defined, but it's not EU. TJ Adams says, write a trading block. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on this story. But you can see they're still pouring water on it. Look at that. Sarah Louise, who I think is in the UK, says, we're still in Europe. Is there volume on this shot? I don't even think there's volume on it. Anyways. Oh, hold on. Hey, there's volume. We got volume. Live from the substation fire. DB101 says Gatwick is taking lots of flights. It's a huge airport. All right. So we'll keep an eye on this story. By the way, thanks so much to Benny Hill for your support. Benny Hill, referring to the story we talked about, which is Reuters is reporting that this announcement by Pete Hegseth and President Trump will be an announcement about a warning of a contract of the next generation U.S. fighter jet. Benny Hill says, wow, more weapons of death. Get your wallets out, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you also, Zarina, who hopes the announcement is about Iron Dome. And Benny Hill, our member. Thanks, Zarina, for being a member. Okay. No, they don't know how this fire started. Okay, so Heathrow is closed today. Heathrow Airport is closed because of this fire. Now, what I also wanted to mention is TJ Adams said, I read it's also about Doge and maybe the deportation being folded into DOD. TJ makes a good point. There could be other announcements coming up. We don't know. Maybe it'll be about multiple things. It might be about multiple things. I want to mention something, though, which is supposed to be in about a half an hour. Oh, so Elon Musk is at the Department of Defense right now, according to, I've seen a couple different reports about this. Nick Schifrin, who is with PBS NewsHour, says Elon Musk has begun his meeting at the Pentagon, in the Joint Staff's secure conference room, and the Secretary of Defense is leading the meeting. An official told Nick Schifrin, it said it was scheduled to be unclassified, and the scheduled topics included China as the Pentagon's pacing threat, Doge, and the Pentagon's initial steps to cut what Secretary of Defense Hegseth has defined as waste. All right, so this story, let me just show you this in case you haven't seen it, because multiple outlets are carrying some version of this story. Hold on a second. The Wall Street Journal reported this. The New York Times reported this. This is a Washington Post article, but it's not just one. It's not just one outlet. Multiple outlets are reporting some version of this story. About the story that Wall Street Journal and New York Times had a story. Both had a story saying that Elon Musk would be getting presented with highly sensitive war plans for China. So like the Wall Street Journal headline says, Musk set to receive top secret briefing on U.S. war plans for China. That's the Wall Street Journal. The New York Times says, where is it here? The New York Times had reported that Elon Musk would be briefed today on the U.S. military's plan for any war that might break out with China. And this article from the Washington Post says Elon Musk to visit Pentagon to discuss China and Doge reforms, officials say. By the way, multiple reports say he is there right now. He's at the Pentagon. The Post says Elon Musk is scheduled to receive a briefing by Defense Department leaders focused on the threat posed by China and the billionaire's work to slash the U.S. government bureaucracy, according to people familiar with the matter. The meeting at the Pentagon was initiated by Defense Secretary Hegseth, who invited Musk for a briefing, according to a U.S. official who said the topics to be discussed would include Musk's U.S. Doge service efforts and defense issues, including China. The briefing would be unclassified, the official said. Now, if it's unclassified, then I would guess it wouldn't involve the sensitive war plans for China. I don't know which of these stories is true, if any. A person familiar with the issue said China would be the main focus of the discussion. The New York Times, which first reported plans for the meeting, said Musk would receive a top-secret briefing that would include plans on how the United States would fight China in a war. Secretary Hegseth denied the report late Thursday, saying on social media the meeting is about innovation, efficiencies, and smarter production. President Trump posted on social media denying the reporting and saying China will not even be mentioned or discussed. Elon Musk is already privy to some insider national security information as the head of SpaceX, one of his companies that has earned billions in taxpayer dollars in contracts, including from the Defense Department. But his unusual closeness to the administration and a top-level meeting at the Pentagon bring the mercurial billionaire in closer proximity to secretive work. The Washington Post says deepening his conflicts of interest, meaning working for the government and also having a business, which the government uses. In seeking friendly governments for his business interests, Musk has cozied up to and also conflict of interest because he is close to China as well. In seeking friendly governments for his business interests, Musk has cozied up to Beijing to broaden the market and production for his Tesla electric vehicles. A Democrat in the House the ranking Democrat in the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Gregory W. Meeks, said, handing Musk our military plans for China goes far beyond the usual kleptocracy of this administration. Musk has a significant financial stake in China. Remember, the Pentagon has laid out a goal of reducing the ranks of non-military personnel in the Pentagon by up to 8%, which could amount to nearly 60,000 people. Musk's Doge changes and cuts are beginning to hit the Defense Department. I've seen some discussion that maybe this meeting has at least in part to do with the Defense Department wanting to coordinate with Elon Musk. For example, the idea I've seen argued is, well, if Elon Musk if Doge is cutting programs, then maybe he'd want to know. What was one of the articles mentioned the example of an aircraft carrier? Like if you were going to kind of cut an aircraft carrier, might be helpful to know whether how big a deal that aircraft carrier is in future Pentagon planning. So again, the idea was that perhaps part of this meeting would be to try to coordinate with Elon Musk if there are going to be cuts coming up, rather than the cuts not being based on any information about future Pentagon planning. I don't know. I've just seen that I don't know if the Times article said that or the Wall Street Journal article. One of the articles I was reading talked about that. Right. The Times article said that If Musk and cost cutters from Doge want to trim the Pentagon budget in a responsible way, they may need to know what weapon systems the Pentagon plans to use in a fight with China. I'll also show you what I could certainly see if President Trump and Secretary Hegseth take questions in their upcoming appearance. I certainly think this could be asked about. Here is what President Trump said. I think he posted twice about this. So here's what he said at 7:26 a.m. Elon Musk will be briefed, in quotes, Elon Musk will be briefed by the Pentagon about the USA's top secret plans against China should there be a war, according to the failing New York Times, one of the worst and most purposely inaccurate newspapers anywhere in the world. Their fake concept for this story is that because Elon does some business in China, that he is very conflicted and would immediately go to top Chinese officials and spill the beans. Ratings challenged fake news CNN immediately picked up on this absolutely ridiculous and false story. I remind you, the Wall Street Journal is also reporting it. Anyways, he says ratings challenged fake news CNN all immediately picked up on this absolutely ridiculous and false story, which is probably libelous, and went heavy with it. Fortunately, nobody was watching. Maggot Hagerman. He's probably talking about Maggie Haberman. Maggot Hagerman, the really dumb scammer who constantly writes about me for the Times, using anonymous, made-up, non-existent stories, saying they're literally making up their sources, and who I haven't spoken to in ages, is a big part of the scam. She led the Russia hoax, only to realize that she was duped and got it wrong. She owes me a totally discredited Pulitzer Prize for her bad reporting. The fake news is the enemy of the people, and Elon is, in quote, not being briefed on anything China by the Department of War. That was at 7:26 a.m. Blobberoni says Department of War. He means the Department of Defense, surely? Yeah, that would be my guess. Leslie Ladyhawk thought it was well said. Fire alarm, 5 alarm fire thinks this means the story is real. Linda Cosma says he is just telling it like it is. So again, this could be asked about in certainly if they take questions. Okay, so that's going on. So that is happening. By the way, thanks to Tonya Bologna for your support. Thank you, Bebop and Rocksteady. Bebop and Rocksteady says multiple outlets with different sources or multiple outlets parroting the same report. No. Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, and New York Times all have the same sources. No, they all have their own sources. Now, it's possible that someone or people from the administration went to all of these places. It's an interesting question. I don't think the Wall Street Journal and the Washington Post or New York Times are literally making up sources. I don't think they're doing that. Also, I think that would put the existence of their organization at risk, by the way. So I would think what happened is people on the inside are going, the same people might be going to all these publications. Now, the question is, who is doing that and why? Which is an interesting question. Why would multiple people go to all these papers and tell them about this? Now, you could imagine a world in which maybe somebody in the Trump administration, let's assume the story is true. I don't know if it is. Let's assume it's true. You could imagine a world in which maybe there's people in the Trump administration, maybe there was debate about this. Maybe some people don't like it and they want it put out there. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some people think he has too much power and they want more power in the administration. So they throw this story out there. I don't know, but somebody is going to these different outlets and saying something about it. TJ Adams thinks they don't like it, so they leaked it. If somebody goes to the media with something like this, they have some reason for going to the media. The New York Times said their sources were 2 U.S. officials. Actually, they talked to 4 different officials. They have 4 officials they talked to, and then the Post is people familiar with the matter. They mentioned an official, and then the Wall Street Journal story. And again, they know who these people are. They're not taking anonymous phone calls. The Wall Street Journal story is based on multiple now U.S. defense officials. It could be people in the Defense Department. Maybe there's people in the Defense Department who might not like the idea of meeting with him, or don't want them to think it's weird the Defense Department is sharing certain information with him, and they decide to go to the media about it. I don't know, but yeah, yes, no one's putting their name on it, because I'm guessing they'd be fired if they did. But the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, and Washington Post know who they're talking to. And by the way, he is at the multiple outlets have reported he is at the Pentagon today. I believe now. At least he was a little while ago. Hang on a second here. Thank you, Matthew Felty. Matthew believes this meeting was forecast weeks ago. Thank you also, Wheat Supreme, who says, announcing next-gen fighter while SpaceX is at Pentagon. Maybe Lockheed didn't win bid. Democrats would hate this. Also, jab at military-industrial complex. Well, according to Reuters, it would be either Lockheed Martin or Boeing. Again, this is the report about what this is the Reuters report about what is going to be announced, if it's just one thing. Reuters says Trump to award U.S. Air Force's next generation fighter contract today, sources say. President Trump will personally announce the Pentagon's decision on a next generation fighter jet contract with it worth at least $20 billion as soon as today. And in the story, it says it will be today with Hegseth. Despite concerns about budget constraints and shifting priorities, sources briefed on the plan said the next generation air dominance program will replace Lockheed Martin's F-22 Raptor with a crewed aircraft built to enter combat alongside drones. The plane's design remains a closely held secret, but would most likely include stealthiness, advanced sensors, and cutting-edge engines. Lockheed and Boeing are competing for the winner-take-all engineering and manufacturing development contract worth more than $20 billion. The winner will eventually receive hundreds of billions of dollars of orders over the contract's multi-decade lifetime. For Boeing, a win would mark a sharp reversal of fortunes for a company that has struggled on both the commercial and defense side of its business. A loss could be devastating. A victory for Lockheed Martin, the world's largest defense contractor, would keep its high-end offerings. It also makes a stealthy F-35 on an upward trajectory. An Air Force spokesperson and Boeing and Lockheed representatives did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Trump's schedule today shows an 11 a.m. Eastern Time Oval Office announcement alongside Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. A U.S. official briefed on the plan said the announcement about the next generation fighter jet was slated for that time. Interestingly, it says here Billionaire and presidential advisor Elon Musk has voiced skepticism of the effectiveness of crewed high-end fighters, saying cheaper drones were a better option. Under Trump's administration, the program has moved forward after a period of uncertainty that cast doubt on the future of the next-generation fighter jet. Irish Sweetness says, we shall wait and see. So, and as I mentioned also, Pete Hegseth posted on his social media last night that there would be a big announcement today for him and Trump, with him and Trump in the Oval Office. He said there would be a big announcement for the Department of Defense, President leading the way on the future of American power. So that would match up with it being an announcement about the next generation fighter jet. We'll have to see if that's the announcement. Thank you to Lee Elmore for your support. I appreciate it, Lee. Thank you so much, Lee Elmore. That is what the channel is, Agenda Free TV. Thank you, Still Real, for your support. You know what we'll do? Maybe we'll do a quick poll. By the way, thanks to Kimley Hillbilly on Twitch for your support. Drunk Can't Cook. Thanks for being a subscriber for 18 months. Wow. Thank you, Drunk Can't Cook. I really appreciate that. Maybe, all right, the poll we're going to do is assuming true, fighter contract goes to Boeing and Lockheed Martin. So the premise of the question is that we're going to assume that it's true that this is going to be announced in about 15 minutes or so, maybe less, maybe more. Will the contract go to Boeing or Lockheed Martin? Really quick, flash poll. We got to do this fast. All right, I just posted it on YouTube. Oh no, I got to do this fast. Fast! I'm not going fast enough. Not going fast enough. All right, I'm posting it on Twitch right now. It is now posted on Twitch. Let me just post it on Facebook, then I'll show you the results. Why can't I even... Oh, I see. Hang on a moment here. Gotta post it. Sorry, I'm just posting it on Facebook. Gotta post it 3 times. Poll. Boeing, Lockheed Martin. Okay. Okay, I asked you guys, assuming this story is true, who is going to get the contract? Over on YouTube, here is the vote on YouTube. 81% of you said it will be Lockheed Martin and not Boeing. On Facebook, 80% are saying Lockheed Martin and not Boeing. And on Twitch, the vote is, wow, look at Twitch. 94% Lockheed Martin. Is Lockheed Martin messing with our poll? No, I have no evidence that Lockheed Martin is messing with our poll. I'm just joking, to be clear. But that's, I mean, look at those numbers on Twitch. We never see that kind of poll number. 95% on Twitch? Douthis says Twitch knows. LCS Fox says Twitch voters are based. Massachusetts guy says, geez. Thanks for subscribing over there. McBritches, Massachusetts guy, Douthis, Wall Street, Shaggy. Just to name some of our subscribers over there. Flumpingtons. Drunk Can't Cook. All right. Thank you for voting in our flash poll. So you guys think if this story is true, it is going to be Lockheed Martin. Okay, now let me take a second here and see. I need to make an adjustment here. Okay, give me a moment. So we're getting ready to show you this. It is 10:55 a.m. This announcement is supposed to be at 11 a.m. But, CNN is reporting that Elon Musk has wrapped up his Pentagon visit. He has been there today. Multiple outlets, including the Washington Post, including the Wall Street Journal and New York Times, Wall Street Journal and New York Times, had both reported that Elon Musk was going to be receiving top secret briefing on U.S. war plans for China. That's literally the headline in the Wall Street Journal. Musk set to receive top secret briefing on U.S. war plans for China. Just theoretical, not the idea isn't that there's a war coming anytime soon. Anyways, all right, so it's right now, it is 10:56. This announcement is scheduled for 11 a.m., but it could start late. All right, so we're keeping an eye on that. By the way, stock market, Dow Jones down about 0.75 point today. S&P 500 down 0.70, about 0.75 point. NASDAQ down 0.69%. Russell 2000 down 1.16%. Steve Paranto says, Boeing has had a terrible track record lately. Confidence is low for quality at Boeing. That's what Steve Paranto, our viewer, says. Okay, hang on a moment here. Checking for updates. Checking for updates. Update. Jennifer Jacobs from CBS News. New report from Jennifer Jacobs. She reports staffing cuts coming at Small Business Administration, reducing staff by 40%. Sources told Ed O'Keefe and me early this morning. That is the Small Business Administration, which is a government agency. It's an independent agency of the United States government. It has about 3,300 employees, according to Wikipedia. About 3,300 employees to provide support to entrepreneurs and small businesses. According to CBS News, Jennifer Jacobs, they are planning on reducing their staff by 40%. SBA makes loans too. They provide SBA loans are made through, well, they don't make loans, they provide guarantees. SBA loans are made through banks, credit unions, and other lenders who partner with the SBA. The SBA provides a government-backed guarantee on part of the loan. Okay. SBA loans, they try to strengthen access to capital for small businesses. Looks like, if I'm reading this right. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. Wall Street Journal has the story about the jet fighter, I believe. Hold on a second. Where is this? Yes, the Wall Street Journal is now reporting Trump to announce multi-billion-dollar jet fighter. They are now reporting that as well. Okay? The Wall Street Journal is reporting that as well. They are saying President Trump is set to announce the go-ahead for a jet fighter. They are expected to announce this decision today at the White House, him and Pete Hegseth. Okay. So the Wall Street Journal has joined Reuters in saying that President Trump and Secretary of Defense Hegseth will be announcing a new jet fighter. Warco says NGAD. That is what Reuters said. Next Generation Air Dominance Program. NGAD. All right, so as we wait for this announcement, it's not happening right this second. So I'm going to say, hold on, I'm going to fix my headline because obviously it's not going to happen at 11 a.m. because it is 11 a.m. I'll say any moment. We will have that live for you. Hey, let me thank our moderators real quick. We have moderating as we wait for this to start. I really appreciate it. Beezy is here. Thanks so much, Beezy, for moderating. Thank you. Also, Linda Bell, Larry, Misha on X. On Twitch, we have McBritches, Surly Dev, I Got That Fire. On Facebook, oops, I didn't close the Facebook poll. Got to get that back up there. Got to close that and open this. Thanks to all of our moderators, by the way. We have mods on Facebook, people like Paul Anderson, Margaret Riley, Kay Lowry Body. Kay is over there. Thanks, Kay. Thanks also, Agenda Free TV Clips. Is that a channel? I hope it's not a channel because you're not allowed to broadcast this stuff. But thank you for your support. Thanks also to PZ Papa Zulu, who says, I wouldn't trust Boeing too many coincidences. Thank you, Lee Elmore. I think I thanked Lee, but thanks, Lee, again. Thank you, Lee, for your support. All right, so any moment now, we're going to have this. Ooh, hold on. I got to get this up on the screen. One moment. I'm just preparing to show you this. No, that's not what I wanted to show you. There. All right, it's not live yet. I can tell you it's not live yet. It is not live yet. They are not live yet at the White House. The schedule was for, by the way, thanks to Haunted Wind for subscribing on Twitch. And thanks also to Massachusetts Guy for the gift sub. Thank you. And also thanks Daredevil 2300 for the bits on Twitch. So nice of you. 6.5 earthquake, USGS says south of Panama. Here, look. 6.5 earthquake south of Panama. Not on land. That is from USGS. Oh, and thanks also to No tsunami threat from this earthquake, according to Pacific Tsunami Warning Center. Thanks to Derek Kopek, who says, we have the money for these jets because we let the kids starve now. Hey, thank you, Derek Kopek, for your support. Thank you also, Ellen Zen and Jan Erik Edvardson, who says, if it's Boeing, it ain't going. Wow. All right, so again, regarding that earthquake, no tsunami warning, advisory, watch, or threat, says Pacific Tsunami Warning Center. Now, what we need to do is look around. We're waiting any moment now. I don't know exactly when we're going to have this announcement. One of our viewers said Boeing stock dropped. I just checked. Boeing stock is up 4% today. Again, the Reuters reports that Lockheed Martin stock is down 1.52% today. Oh no, Lockheed Martin stock, is that up to date? Now I'm confused. I'm looking at the Lockheed Martin chart, and it seems to suggest that it just dropped a bunch. Did news come out? And Boeing just went up a bunch, actually. Are there leaks about information? What did the Washington Post said, the Wall Street Journal says that, does it say who's going to get the contract in the Wall Street Journal? Nothing in the Wall Street Journal. People think it's speculation. Again, if you look up the current stock prices for Lockheed Martin and Boeing, in the last few minutes, Boeing has gone up a bunch, and in the last few minutes, Lockheed Martin has gone down a bunch. I mean, I'm just looking at the stock chart. Has anyone else looked at this? So what I'm saying is maybe somebody is betting that Boeing will get the contract and not Lockheed Martin. I don't know. NY committee thinks somebody's talking. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the Google chart, it says that Lockheed Martin was at about 480 and then suddenly went down to 454. Let me check a different chart. Same thing with Yahoo Finance. So multiple stock charts say Lockheed Martin was like around 480, and then all of a sudden in just a few minutes it went down to like 450, 455. And then Boeing, on the other hand, was at about 176 and then suddenly went up to 180 in the last few minutes. I think we have an update about Heathrow, by the way. I'm seeing CNN reports a British utility says power was restored to Heathrow on an interim basis. All right, there's that too. Anyways, the reason we're talking about Boeing and Lockheed Martin is that Reuters reports that Trump and the Wall Street Journal, they're both reporting that Trump is going to announce the awarding of the next fighter jet contract in this announcement. And Reuters says it's between Lockheed Martin and Boeing. R3D says, where's Northrop Grumman at? I don't know why these are the two for this. I mean, I'm not like a military procurement expert, but according to Wall Street, to Reuters, those are the two in the running. Announced on X, it's Boeing, someone said. Did it get announced? Oh, did Trump announce it? Did Trump make an announcement? No, it's not on his Truth Social. Oh, did somebody report it? Oh, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing an unconfirmed report. What is BA? Reuters source? Oh, is Reuters reporting it? Hold on. Hang on a moment. I'm seeing a report claiming that Reuters is saying it's Boeing, but I haven't seen that myself. We're waiting for the official announcement here. It's not live yet. Why? I am seeing people claiming that Reuters is reporting this, but I haven't seen the Reuters report myself. So I'd be careful with this. I'm kind of confused about this. I'm seeing people who are not reporters, who are not with news agencies, claim on social media it's from Reuters Wire. Hold on a second here. Oh, I think we got it. Breaking news, Reuters is reporting it. Trump awards Boeing much needed win with fighter jet contract, sources say. Breaking news, this is from Reuters. Trump awards Boeing much needed win with fighter jet contract, sources say. President Trump on Friday awarded Boeing a contract to build the U.S. Air Force's most sophisticated fighter jet, known as Next Generation Air Dominance, says Reuters. All right, hang on a moment here. Wow. So Reuters, President Trump on Friday awarded Boeing a contract to build the U.S. Air Force's most sophisticated fighter jet known as Next Generation Air Dominance, two sources familiar with the situation said. Breaking news. Here it is. This is from Reuters. I'm going to read you this again. Let me actually just screen capture the text so I can put the text on the screen for you. Breaking news. Breaking news. All right, so here's this report from Reuters. I'm showing it to you right now. President Trump today awarded a Boeing contract to build the U.S. Air Force's most sophisticated fighter jet, known as Next Generation Air Dominance, two sources familiar with the situation said. The NGAD program will replace Lockheed Martin's F-22 Raptor with a crewed aircraft built to enter combat alongside drones. The plane's design remains a closely held secret, but would likely include stealthiness, advanced sensors, and cutting-edge engines. The engineering and manufacturing development contract is worth more than $20 billion. The winner will eventually receive hundreds of billions of dollars in orders over the contract's multi-decade lifetime. For Boeing, the win marks a reversal of fortune for a company that has struggled on both the commercial and defense sides of its business. It is a major boost for its St. Louis, Missouri fighter jet production business. Guys, we did a poll earlier. The large majority of the chat thought it was going to be Lockheed Martin. I think in Twitch it was like 95% of the chat. We'll see if this ends up being true. Looks like it got leaked. Looks like it got leaked. That's what it's looking like. The Wall Street Journal says that Elon Musk today visited the Pentagon for sensitive discussions about China and technology. The Wall Street Journal says Musk was originally set to receive a briefing on top secret potential war plans, but revelations of the meeting caused a change of course. Sorry, I'm just trying to get you guys updates and keeping an eye on this because any moment now we're expecting to hear from President Trump and Pete Hegseth. It's now 11:16 a.m. They were supposed to start at 11 a.m., but they have not started yet. Is anyone else reporting on this Boeing news yet? Let's see here. Yeah, the only one, like Investors Business Daily had a headline today: Trump pits Lockheed versus Boeing for $20 billion fighter jet contract. But Reuters is now reporting that it's going to be Boeing. we still do not have the actual announcement yet. Any moment now it is expected. It's starting now? No, it's not starting now. The White House is live now. All right, hold on. Hold on a moment. It hasn't started yet. Hang on a moment. But thanks for mentioning it, because the White House just made their broadcast live. Hold on a moment here. Look, we will begin shortly. We will begin shortly. It's coming up. Guys, they're going to begin shortly. Where is... what just happened here? Boeing stock has jumped up since, in the last 20 minutes, it's gone up from like 176 to 181. Meanwhile, Lockheed Martin stock has gone from around 480 to 443 in the last 20 minutes or so. Thanks you, Jan Eric Edvardson. Thank you. Crazy Yoda, thanks for the gift memberships. Thank you, Martin Gingrich, who says BA is Boeing ticker name. Thank you to Martin Gingrich. Thank you, Switch Life, who says Congress insider trading should be illegal. Congress insider trading is legal, but I think what you mean is that people in Congress should not be allowed to trade stocks. I think you mean. Thank you, Switch Life. Thank you, the Fanas Hole, who says Trump may say he is sending troops to the Middle East. Maybe there will be other announcements instead of just the fighter jet. Thanks, Jan-Eric Edvardson, who says, how about a Tesla jet charger not included? So we are waiting any moment now, we will have this announcement. If you're just joining us, Reuters had been reporting that this announcement was going to be about the awarding of the next generation fighter jet contract. And now Reuters is reporting that Trump has awarded Boeing this contract over Lockheed Martin and that this is going to be announced. Al Jones says someone is making a killer on insider trading. I don't know if what happened with the Boeing stock and Lockheed Martin stock moves. I don't know. You know, the Reuters report that I'm reading came out at 11:17, but maybe it might have been on their wire before then. So I don't know if people started trading before Reuters reported on their wire, because people, so it's an interesting question as to whether when those price moves started happening exactly compared to the Reuters report. Half Jack thinks, of course, there is inside trading going on. Rock Lobster says things leak. Barley Hop says 2 days ago the bump happened. There was a bump in Boeing stock on March 19th. I don't know what it was for. I haven't been following Boeing stock. Anyways, look at the Lockheed Martin stock chart. It's really interesting. Lockheed Martin stock had opened today up, closed at about 465, opened the day at about 480, and then in the last 20 minutes or so, it looks like, went from roughly 480 to 440. Dries Salet says, somebody check Pelosi's trades. Will they take questions? Will they talk about other things? I don't know. The Prepared Ranch mentioned, thanks Prepared Ranch for writing in, that on his social media, Elon Musk, referring to these reports, now remember, the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times both reported that Elon Musk they both reported before Elon Musk went to the Pentagon today, that he was to get some sort of top secret briefing about U.S. theoretical war plans against China. And Elon Musk said, I look forward to the prosecutions of those at the Pentagon who are leaking maliciously false information to New York Times. They will be found. Thanks to the Prepared Ranch for mentioning that. All right, hang on a moment here. Daniel Lombard, our viewer, says, why trust Boeing to manufacture military jets when they are 4 years behind on Air Force One? There's an article from the New York Times from February. It says Boeing is at least 3 years behind schedule on delivering 2 new Air Force One planes. Fox Business said in February that that one of the Air Force One jet is delayed due to issues that Boeing has attributed to global supply chains and changing project requirements. Again, any moment now, as you can see, it says will begin shortly. That's the White House feed. We're going to be seeing President Trump and Secretary of Defense Hegseth in the Oval Office making an announcement. Reportedly, according to Reuters, it will be about the next generation fighter jet. Actually, the Wall Street Journal reported that too. Trump to announce multi-billion-dollar jet fighter. That was announced. It said Wall Street Journal says also that Hegseth and Trump will be announcing this. And they also say that Lockheed Martin and Boeing are vying for the contract. Reuters has reported just a few minutes ago that Boeing is going to get it. Like Reuters, Wall Street Journal also pointed out that Elon Musk has campaigned against manned aircraft, and he says they are obsolete in the age of drones. The Wall Street Journal says the new fighters could cost as much as several $100 million each. Current F-35 fighters cost about $80 million. It is 11:26. Sorry for the delay. All I can do is tell you when they say they're going to start. I can't tell you exactly when they're going to start. See if I have any other updates, breaking updates for you while we're waiting. I'm checking some different sources here. The Washington Post reports that Elon Musk visited the Pentagon today to discuss the threat posed by China and Musk's work to slash the U.S. government bureaucracy. Reportedly, that meeting has ended. Oh, the New York Times, like the Wall Street Journal, said the plans were changed for Elon Musk today with his meeting at the Pentagon. The Times says that Elon Musk had been expected to attend a briefing on Friday in a secure conference room about U.S. plans for any war that might break out with China. Instead, the New York Times now says, he had an 80-minute meeting with Defense Secretary Hegseth in Hegseth's office. The Pentagon and the president denied that China was a subject of the secret briefing. So the Times now says that Hegseth met with with Musk for 80 minutes in Hegseth's office. Meanwhile, the Wall Street Journal says that Elon Musk was originally scheduled to receive a briefing on top secret plans for a potential war with China. But then defense officials said he would have an unclassified meeting. And they do report that he walked into Hegseth's office upon arrival. And then he left around 90 minutes later. I do wonder, so some people, as we said before, went to these various publications and gave them this story. I don't know if it's true, and gave them this story saying that Elon Musk is going to get this briefing on war plans against China. So I do wonder, there's an interesting possibility that maybe that was the plan, and that when it leaked, it prevented it from happening. Now, that might not be the case. It might be the case. That might have been the intention of the people who went to the publications. Screen Door says, who is spilling the beans on meetings? Sentient Cannabis thinks if Elon is protesting what the Times is reporting, then the story is legit. Again, I don't know if it's true. Jim, our viewer, says based on how Trump reacted, he thinks it's true. Sea Turtle says maybe those sources lied. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm seeing it on a different, it's about to start right now. It's about to start. You're going to see it in a second. I can tell it's about to start. I have a second feed, but I'd rather show you the White House feed. Give me a moment here. You're looking at a live shot, right? Well, you're looking at the White House feed. Hang on. I have a shot I can show you. That's from a... Where is that coming from? Hang on, we'll get... let's wait for the White House feed. That feed is messed up. White House feed.
We're going to educate the children in their states.
Why are you hearing something?
Big. I don't think it's even risky a little bit.
Where is that audio coming from?
Amazing. It should have been done years ago. They've been talking about doing it for many years, but nobody ever got it off. We did. And there was great excitement and great acceptance of it by almost everybody, including a lot of Democrats, actually. I do want to say that I've decided that the SBA, the Small Business Administration, headed by Kelly Loeffler, is a terrific person, will handle all of the student loan portfolio. We have a portfolio that's very large, lots of loans, tens of thousands of loans, pretty complicated deal. And that's coming out of the Department of Education immediately, and it's going to be headed up by Kelly Loeffler at SBA, and they're all set for it. They're waiting for it. It'll be serviced much better than it has in the past. It's been a mess. And also, Bobby Kennedy, the Health and Human Services, will be handling special needs and all of the nutrition programs and everything else. Rather complex, but that's going to be headed by and handled by Health and Human Services. So I think that'll work out very well. Those two elements will be taken out of the the Department of Education, and then all we have to do is get the students to get guidance from the people that love them and cherish them, including their parents, by the way, who will be totally involved in their education along with the boards and the governors and the states. And it's going to be a great situation. I guarantee that in a few years from now, I hope I'm going to be around to see it, but I think we're going to see a lot of it. I think that you're going to have tremendous results. You're going to have results like Norway, Sweden, Denmark, a lot of the countries that do so well. I think you're going to have a lot of those results. If you look at Iowa and Indiana and Idaho, so many places that run so well, Florida, Texas, big ones, you're going to have great education, much better than it is now at half the cost. And we're not even doing it as a cost item, although you will save probably half, maybe more than that. And you're not going to be at the bottom of the list. You're going to be much higher. And maybe you'll be, I will guarantee some of the states will be at the top of the list. They'll be comparable or better than these number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 countries, the countries that are in the top 5 positions. So that's, to me, it's very exciting, and it's been received very well. So I just wanted to tell you about the student loans and special needs. But we're here for a reason today that is very exciting, and I'm thrilled to announce that at my direction, the United States Air Force is moving forward with the world's first 6th generation fighter jet. Number 6, 6th generation. Nothing in the world comes even close to it. And it'll be known as the F-47. The generals picked a title, and it's a beautiful number, F-47. It's something the likes of which nobody has seen before in terms of all of the attributes of a fighter jet. There's never been anything even close to it, from speed to maneuverability to what it can have to payload. And this has been in the works for a long period of time. After a rigorous and thorough competition between some of America's top aerospace companies, the Air Force is going to be awarding the contract for the next generation air dominance platform to Boeing. As you know, was highly competed for. There was a lot of competition, generals, and it's been going on for a long time. Very, very tough competition, but this plane is produced numbers that nobody's ever seen before. The F-47 will be the most advanced, most capable, most lethal aircraft ever built. An experimental version of the plane has secretly been flying for almost 5 years, and we're confident that it massively overpowers the capabilities of any other nation. There's no other nation. We know every other plane. I've seen every one of them, and it's not even close. This is a next level. You know, level 5 is good. This is level 6, they say. The F-47 is equipped with state-of-the-art stealth technology. It's virtually unseeable and unprecedented power. It's got the most power of any jet of its kind ever made. Maneuverability, likewise, is there's never been anything like it, despite the power and speed. Its speed is top. It's over 2, which is something that you don't hear very often. America's enemies will never see it coming. Hopefully we won't have to use it for that purpose, but you have to have it. And if it ever happens, they won't know what the hell hit them. A new fleet of these magnificent planes will be built in the air during my administration for the next couple of years. It's ready to go. They've already built much of what has to be built in terms of production, including the sheds. Will ensure that the USA continues to dominate the skies. We've given an order for a lot. We can't tell you the price because it would give way to some of the technology and some of the size of the plane, good sized plane. This contract also represents a historic investment in our defense industrial base, helping to keep America at the cutting edge of aerospace and technology. Our allies are calling constantly. They want to buy them also, and certain allies will be selling them, perhaps toned down versions. We like to tone them down about 10%, which probably makes sense because someday maybe they're not our allies, right? But I would like to ask Secretary Hegseth, who's doing a fantastic job. He's really really been very inspiring in so many ways. And I must say that before he speaks, we have had record people wanting to join our military in the last 2.5 months, literally since this, I think probably since the election, November 5th, but especially since we came to office and since I announced Pete. He's young, he's smart, he's strong, he loves it, and they love him. But we've had record numbers of people wanting to join our military. Now, if you go back 6 months, it was the exact opposite. You had record numbers of people not wanting to join the military. Now you have record numbers of people wanting to be in our military, and that's a great honor. That shows you we're really on the right track. So, Pete, maybe say a few words.
Sure. Well, Mr. President, this is a big day. This is a big day for our warfighters. This is a big day for our country, a big day in the world. The name of this program is the Next Generation of Air Dominance. And Mr. President, because of your leadership, your clarity, America is going to have generations in the future of air dominance because of this 6th generation fighter. We've had the F-15, we had the F-16, the F-18, the F-22, the F-35. Now we have the F-47, which sends a very direct, clear message to our allies that we're not going anywhere, and to our enemies that we will be able to project power around the globe unimpeded for generations to come. Mr. President, this is a gift to my kids and your kids, to my grandkids and your grandkids. This is a historic investment in the American military, in the American industrial base, in American industry that will help revive the warrior ethos inside our military, which we're doing, rebuild our military, which the previous administration did not do, by the way, Mr. President. They paused this program and were prepared to potentially scrap it. We know this is cheaper, longer range, and more stealthy. President Trump said we're reviving it and we're doing it. And then we are also going to reestablish deterrence. Under the previous administration, we looked like fools. Not anymore. President Trump has reestablished American leadership. The F-47 is part of it. And Mr. President, thank you for having the courage to do it and leading the way for all our warfighters.
Thank you very much, Pete. One of the things I will say, but the generals are going to speak in just a couple of seconds, but this plane flies with drones. It flies with many, many drones, as many as you want, and it's a technology that's new, but it doesn't fly by itself. It flies with many drones, as many as we want, and that's something that no other plane can do. So I'd like to introduce, if I might, Air Force Chief of Staff General David Alvin, and also General Dale White, two incredible people that I've known over the years, but I got to know them really well over the last few months. And would you say a few words, please, General?
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, Mr. Secretary, thank you so much for your unwavering commitment to our military. I will say this is a big day. This is a big day for our United States Air Force as well. You know, air dominance is not a birthright, but it's become synonymous with American air power. But air dominance needs to be earned every single day. And since the earliest days of aerial warfare, brave American airmen have jumped into their machines, taken to the air, and they've cleared the skies. And whether that be clearing the skies so we can rain down destruction on our enemies from above, or we can clear the path to the ground forces below. That's been our commitment to the fight, and that's really been our promise to America. And with this F-47 as the crown jewel in the next generation air dominance family of systems, we're going to be able to keep that promise well into the future. I also want to thank everyone from industry and within government, our engineers, who have worked tirelessly on this program to bring it where we are right now today. This shows that American talent, American skill, and American determination are second to none, because this platform is second to none. So we believe that this provides more lethality, it provides more capability, more modernized capability in a way that is built to adapt. This, along with our collaborative combat aircraft the President talked about with drones, this is allowing us to look into the future and unlock the magic that is human-machine teaming. And as we do that, we're going to write the next generation of modern aerial warfare with this. This enables us to do this. The manner in which we put this program together puts more control in the hands of the government. so we can update and adapt at the speed of relevance, at the speed of technology, not at the speed of bureaucracy. This is more Air Force. This is more options for the president. We say as our mission in the United States Air Force is to fly, fight, and win air power anytime, anywhere. If you want to go anywhere, you have to have a platform that gets you anywhere. This provides the president options from the very one end, which is a quick response, and then we can get right back into fighting stance without having to deploy troops that are going to take maybe months and cost more lives. We can be back in fighting stance and maybe restore that deterrence. All the way to decisive victory as part of a joint force that is the most lethal and capable military ever known in history. That's what we provide now, and this allows us to provide it into the future. It's more deterrence, more capability. It's what peace through strength looks like into the future, Mr. President. And so we're very proud to do that. And all we can say is, on behalf of the United States Air Force, let's deliver.
Thank you very much. Thank you, General. Would you like to say something?
No, sir, I'll just double down what the chief said.
He knows what to do. He
generational
knows who the boss is.
That's exactly right. Your security is what it's all about, and this is what we'll deliver.
That's good. Thank you very much. Great job. We've worked together long and hard on this, and this was a big secret. In fact, we don't show too much of the plane for that reason. See what we show? You see how beautiful that is, but that's just a very small part of it.
Sure.
I wasn't surprised. I was wondering how much are you going to show when they came in with that. You see a wheel in the front? That's about it. Any questions?
Mr. President Trump,
Peter?
is 80,000 pages of documents is a lot to sift through.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us who killed Kennedy?
Well, I was given the task of releasing that because many presidents have gone through it and they haven't released. And I said, release. We even released Social Security numbers. I didn't want anything deleted. They said, so what about Social Security? People long gone, but they're long gone, so I can't imagine. But I said, if you don't delete it, if you do delete it, we have people are going to say, why did you delete it? There's something in there. So we gave Social Security, we gave everything. And the rest is for you to look at, Peter. You're going to see whether or not you see anything. But we've given it, we're doing it with Dr. Martin Luther King too. They're preparing all of that. They're going to release everything. And whoever else they want. I mean, we have nothing, we really have nothing to hide. We shouldn't have, when a lot of time goes by. But with the Kennedy files in particular, they were going crazy on them. I don't think there's anything that's earth-shattering, but you'll have to make that determination. In those, it's 80,000, it's actually 88,000, and we have some additional things, as you know, come out today. And for that, you can go to the offices and you can see whatever you want to see. Everything is out there, totally open. The additional stuff is available later on today. You go over to the offices and you can have it immediately. And you'll make a determination.
And on something else, these Tren de Aragua guys, because of your executive order, they are designated as foreign terrorists.
Yeah.
If ISIS or Al-Qaeda foreign terrorists were operating here in the United States, cops would probably be shooting first and asking questions later. And so what is the difference between terrorists, between somebody like an ISIS or an Al-Qaeda operative versus a MS-13 or Tren de Aragua?
Well, these are people that focus on destroying people in their homes. They're not as international in that sense. They're a group of thugs. They come from Venezuela. They come from the prisons of Venezuela. They're very, very dangerous people, but they didn't look so dangerous when the guards took care of the situation from El Salvador. And I want to thank the president. He's a friend of mine. He's done a great job. But I just can't imagine that the Democrats are taking this issue where they want to have them back. So now they have men playing in women's sports. They have transgender for everyone. They have open borders. They have all of their crazy policies that are, I think, 95-5, not 90-10, okay? And their new policy is, let's bring Tren de Aragua back into our country. Let's bring the worst, these are the worst gang members there are. They looked amazingly frail, though, by the way they were handled. It's very amazing. They weren't, when they were in Colorado cutting the fingers off a man because he made a phone call to the police, they seemed a lot tougher then than they did when they were having their head shaved and they were in shackles. They're tough people, they're bad people. We don't want them in our country. We can't let a judge say that he wants him. He didn't run for president. He didn't get much more than 80 million votes. And we just can't let that happen. It'd be so bad for our country. I won on the basis of getting criminals out of our country that were let in. It was called unforced error. They were let in by Biden, incompetently let in, and let in by the millions, actually. 21 million people, I believe it's 21 million. And that's not even including the gotaways, but these are rough people. We want them out of our country. And I won the election based at least partly on that, and that's a big part, yeah?
And I don't know if you saw this. Tim Walz is now saying about Trump supporters, and forgive me, I'm just reading a quote from Tim Walz, "I think I could kick most of their ass."
Oh boy, he'd be in trouble.
Is there any way to know?
Well, he's a loser, yeah, I mean, he's a loser. He lost an election. He played a part. Usually a vice president doesn't play a part, they say. I think Tim played a part. I think he was so bad that he hurt her. But she hurt herself, and Joe hurt them both. They didn't have a great group, but I would probably put him at the bottom of the group.
Have you heard that Biden wants to get back involved for Democratic politicians, fundraising and campaigning against your policies? What do you think of that?
I hope so.
Mr. President, there are several families. Mr. President, there are families from some of the people.
Who are you with?
I'm with La Nación newspaper from Argentina. There are families from some of the people that were on those flights to El Salvador that claim that they're not criminals, they're not members of Agua, of MS-13. What can you tell them, and what guarantees can you give them that everyone in those planes were actual criminals, terrorists, as you said?
Well, I was told that they went through a very strong vetting process, and that that will also be continuing in El Salvador. And if there's anything like that, we would certainly want to find out. But these were a bad group. This was a bad group, and they were in bad areas, and they were with a lot of other people that were absolutely killers, murderers, and people that were really bad with the worst records you've ever seen. And but we will continue that process, absolutely. We don't want to make that kind of a mistake.
Mr. President, is the U.S. planning to give up the position of NATO's Supreme Allied Commander, and if so, why?
NATO is something that I saved. NATO was gone until I came along. In fact, the previous Secretary General, very good man, both of them are good. The current man is fantastic. But both of them have said, if it wasn't for Trump, you wouldn't even have a NATO, because we were paying the cost of almost all of the countries. And now they're paying. I said, we're not going to do this. We're not going to continue. You hurt us on trade. You do bad things on trade. And then on top of it, we're supposed to pay for your military. And because of what I did, hundreds of billions of dollars flowed into NATO by countries that just weren't paying. They were delinquent. They weren't paying their bills. So NATO is solid. They're strong. But they have to treat us fairly.
Are we going to give up the...
Because look, without us, NATO's not the same thing. And I can tell you, I've been having very good discussions, as you know, with President Zelensky and with President Putin. And President Putin will tell you that without the United States, he wouldn't be worried. But he is worried when the United States is involved. And I have to tell you, I've dealt very well with both gentlemen, and we have, I think we have the confines of a deal. I hope we have the confines of a deal. I'm doing it for two reasons. Number one, and by far most importantly, thousands of young people, and they're not American people, they're Russian and they're Ukrainian, are being killed every week, thousands a week. And also the United States has paid, because of Biden, $350 billion on a war that should have never happened. If we had a competent president and this sitting right here, that war would have never happened. It would have absolutely never happened with me. And it didn't happen. For 4 years, it didn't happen.
Mr. President, do you think you have the authority, the power to round up people, deport them, and then you're under no obligation to a court to show the evidence against them?
Well, that's what the law says, and that's what our country needs, because we were, unfortunately, they allowed millions of people to come into our country, totally unvetted, totally unchecked. So you ought to ask, did he have the authority to allow millions of people? Did Biden have the authority to do something that's unthinkable? Have open borders where millions of people poured into our country, totally unvetted and totally unchecked, just as you would say. And many of those people were criminals. Many of them were from jails and prisons and mental institutions and gang members and drug dealers. and very dangerous people. Many were murderers. We have 11,088 that we know of murderers they murdered. Of that number, at least half killed more than one person. They're in our country. They're in a location near you. Biden allowed that to happen to our country, and his people that really ran the country. And the person that operated the autopen, I think we ought to find out who that was, because I guess that was the real president. So when you ask me if we have the authority, did Biden have the authority to allow millions of people to come into our country? Many of these people hardened criminals at the top of the line who have caused tremendous damage in our country. You see them in New York City fighting with our police. I mean, literally having fist fights in the street with our police. These are tough, hard criminals. Many of them came out of jails, and not just South America, from all over the world. They came out from Africa, from the Congo. They came out from Asia, not just South America, but many from South America. These are hard, tough criminals, and we have to get them out. And a judge sitting behind a bench someplace got a nice appointment. You can't take that away from the people that are responsible. Now, in this case, Marco Rubio has a lot of big decisions to make, and he's a fantastic person, a great man. I think he'll be our best. I think he has a chance to be our best Secretary of State. He's been doing incredibly. He works so hard. He's gone to so many different countries already, and he's got the authority to get bad people out of our country. And you can't stop that with a judge sitting behind a bench that has no idea what goes on, who happens to be a radical left lunatic.
Do you think the judiciary
You guys today are denying. You guys are denying this New York Times report that Elon Musk was going to be shown a 20 to 30 page presentation about a theoretical war plan against China. Why not just show it to Elon?
Because I don't want to show it to anybody. You know, you're talking about a potential war with China. Now, I deal with these people all the time, and I'm dealing with Pete. I'm dealing with these gentlemen on numerous different airplane purchases, and I think they're all going to be great. But I don't want other people anybody seeing potential war with China. We don't want to have a potential war with China, but I can tell you if we did, we're very well equipped to handle it. But I don't want to show that to anybody. But certainly you wouldn't show it to a businessman who is helping us so much. He's a great patriot. He's paying a big price for helping us cut costs, and he's doing a great job. He's finding tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse. But I certainly wouldn't want, Elon has businesses in China, and he would be susceptible perhaps to that. But it was such a fake story. The New York Times is just as fake as CNN and MSDNC. And anybody read that story, people laughed at that story. Who would do such a thing? And the first thing I did is I called Susie and I called Pete. I said, is there any truth to that? And they said, it's ridiculous. No, he's over there to talk about cost. You might want to address that, Pete. But Elon was over there today to address costs. Doge, thing called Doge, which you've heard about. Pete?
That's exactly right, Mr. President. You pointed out it was a fake story. We pointed out it was meant to sort of undermine whatever relationship the Pentagon has with Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a patriot. Elon Musk is an innovator. Elon Musk provides a lot of capabilities our government and our military rely on, and I'm grateful for that. We welcomed him today to the Pentagon to talk about Doge, to talk about efficiencies, to talk about innovations. It was a great informal conversation. The rest of that reporting was fake. There was no war plans, there was no Chinese war plans, there was no secret plans. That's not what we were doing at the Pentagon.
I might add that I think Elon, if they ever wanted to do that, I think Elon wouldn't do it. I think he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't want to put himself in that position. But if you read what's out of the New York Times, it's such a dishonest newspaper. It's such garbage. It's, it used to be called all the news that's fit to print. Well, it's all the news that's not fit to print. They have fake sources, or they don't have sources. I think they make most of it up. But this was a made-up story by the New York Times. I call it the failing. It's a failing newspaper. It's failing. And they shouldn't do that. They really are the enemy of the people.
And
We do need honest journalism in this. We've made such big strides over the last 2 months, but we just need honest journalism, and we don't have it. When you have a CNN, you have to watch these people every once in a while just to see where they're coming from, and it's so dishonest. MSNBC is, I think, probably worse and they're both doing horribly in the ratings. I think they're going to be turned off. I don't think they're not doing any ratings. You're doing well on the ratings.
Thank you.
Just quickly on, I understand that your trade rep is meeting their Chinese counterpart next week.
Yes.
Is there anything that they can do to stop April 2nd or to roll back the tariffs that you put on China already?
Well, we can talk, but basically, I call April 2nd. I would have made it April 1st, but I didn't want to be April Fool's Day because then nobody would believe what I said, and they do believe me. April 2nd is going to be Liberation Day for America. We've been ripped off by every country in the world, friend and foe. We've been ripped off on trade. We've been ripped off on military. We protect people and they don't do anything for us. It's just so unfair for years and years. And now some of that money is going to be coming back to us in the form of tariffs. Tens of billions. It's going to be numbers like nobody's ever seen. So NVIDIA announced today, you saw that, hundreds of billions of dollars of investment. The biggest chip maker in the world announced hundreds of billions of dollars of investment. Hundreds of billions, not millions, but billions. They're all coming here. Apple just announced $500 billion worth. They're going to build plants here. You know, they built their plants in China. They're going to build them here. And they're starting immediately. We have investment, the likes of which this country has never seen, already announced. And they all want to have news conferences. I don't have enough time to have that many news conferences, but I would say so far at least $4 trillion. $4 trillion is coming in. Car companies, very importantly, a lot of the car companies that were going to build in Mexico or Canada are now building here. Because I don't want cars from Canada. I don't want cars from Mexico. They want to do it, it's fine, but I want the car companies to build here, not... You know, they were building in Mexico 3 plants, big plants, really big plants, and they were going to sell the cars right across the border. We wouldn't have the jobs, we wouldn't have the profits, we wouldn't get the taxes, we get nothing. All we get is unemployment and empty factories. Those days are over. So now those 3 places are going to build here, but many more than that. We have a big one. Honda is building, just announced a really big plant in Indiana, great state, smart place to build. And we have many car companies coming here. The steel mills are going to be booming, And many other things come with that. But we need that for defense. You know, there are certain things you have to have. You have to have steel. We would have had, if I didn't do in my first term tariffs to stop the onslaught, because they were dumping steel in order to destroy our steel plants. If I didn't do 50% and even 100% in certain cases tariffs on steel, you wouldn't have a steel plant in the United States. And Biden was unable to get rid of those tariffs because they threw off so much money that his numbers, which didn't work anyway because his numbers were terrible, what he did, the way he spent money was so horrible, and what he allowed to happen to energy. That's the other thing. Energy is going to be like it's never been before. Mr. Vice President is here. Do you have anything to say while you're here?
No, sir. I'm
good Vice President.
I'm just here to watch the show, sir.
Okay.
I think airplanes are pretty cool, so I wanted to check this out.
Airplanes cool. It is cool.
Mr. President, anything that China can do to take off the trade war at this point, though?
Well, I'll be speaking to President Xi. I have a great relationship with him. We're going to have a very good relationship. But we have a $1 trillion deficit because of Biden with President Xi. More than that. I mean, I've heard $1.2 trillion. We have a deficit. And I've explained that to President Xi. We also have a problem where he's allowing fentanyl to be sent into Mexico and then cross the border and, you know, killing. I think the number is much higher than the 125, 115 I think it's closer to 300,000 people a year. And so that's a problem. But they have a tremendous surplus against the United States, and we don't want that.
Mr. President, why do you want to control Ukraine's power plant?
A number of industries have come to you asking for exemptions on tariffs. Is that something that is under consideration by you?
Well, people are coming to me and talking about tariffs, and a lot of people are asking me if they could have exceptions. And once you do that for one, you have to do that for all. So, I mean, generally, I did something interestingly during 2 weeks ago. I gave the American car companies a break because it would have been unfair if I didn't. And everybody said, oh, he changed his mind on tariffs. I didn't change my mind. I helped our, sort of big 3, big 4. I helped some of the American companies. And instead of taking it properly, they said, oh, he changed it. I don't change, but the word flexibility is an important word. Sometimes there's flexibility, so there'll be flexibility, but basically it's reciprocal. So that if China's charging us 50% or 30% or 20%, and I don't mean China, I mean anybody, any country, Canada. Nobody knows that Canada's charging our dairy farmers. They have 270% tariffs. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. They have up to 400%. They have a couple of tariffs at 400%. Nobody knows that. Nobody talks about that. And remember, with Canada, we don't need their cars. We don't need their lumber. We don't need their energy. We don't need anything from Canada. And yet it costs us $200 billion a year in subsidy to keep Canada afloat. So when I say they should be a state, I mean that. I really mean that. Because we can't be expected to carry a country that is right next to us on our border. It would be a great state. It would be a cherished state. The taxes for Canadian citizens would go down in less than half. They don't spend money on military because they think we're going to protect them. There are many things that they do, like icebreakers. They want us to provide icebreakers for them. Oh, that's wonderful. So the Canada, they're very tough traders too. I want to just tell you, all the people, they're tough traders. They trade very tough. And you know, the expression I use is, some people don't have the cards. I used that expression about a week and a half ago, right? Somebody was negotiating who didn't have the cards, who's now, I think, saying that he wants to do it, and I think we're going to have a big deal on that very special something. We got to make a deal on that. But Canada has been a very nasty negotiator against the United States, took advantage of the United States for a long time. But nobody knows that they were getting 270% tariffs on dairy products.
Follow up on Canada, and I don't think I've heard you say this in all of the talk about Canada becoming the 51st state. Are you concerned that if they became the 51st state, they would be a very, very blue state? Very, very big and very, very blue.
No, there might be, but it would, you know, you have that artificial line that goes, that straight artificial, that looked like it was drawn by a ruler. Somebody with a, I don't mean a ruler like a king, I mean like a ruler, this way. And it's just an artificial line that was drawn in the sand or in the ice. And you know, can I tell Peter, just, you add that to this country, what a beautiful landmass, the most beautiful landmass anywhere in the world. And it was just cut off for whatever reason. It would be great. Now, is it liberal? Maybe, but you know, a conservative until I got involved, because I don't care who wins up there. I frankly probably would do better with a liberal than the conservative, if you want to know the truth. But just a little while ago, before I got involved and totally changed the election, which I don't care about, probably it's to our advantage actually, but the conservative was leading against, I call him Governor Trudeau, the conservative was leading by 35 points. So, you know, so I don't know about that. I think Canada is a place like a lot of other places. If you have a good candidate, the candidate's going to win.
And the two astronauts that you just helped save from space, they didn't get any overtime pay for all that extra time. They got $5 a day per diem. For 286 days, that is $1,430 in extra pay. Is there anything the administration can do to get them, to make them whole?
Well, nobody's ever mentioned this to me. If I have to, I'll pay it out of my own pocket, okay? I'll get it for them.
Mr. President, I
like that.
Mr. President,
I'll pay it right out of my, is that all? That's not a lot. For what they had to go through. And I want to thank Elon Musk, by the way, because think if we don't have him. You know, there's only so long, even though they're in the capsule up there, that the body starts to deteriorate after 9 or 10 months and gets really bad after 14, 15 months with the bones and the blood and all the things that you've been reporting on very well. And if we don't have Elon, they could be up there a long time. Who else is going to get him? And I just want to thank him. He's going through a lot, what they're doing to him. And these people are going to be caught, and they're going to be caught, and they're going to be prosecuted. And from what they tell me, I see this just by watching your programs and reading the news, but from what they tell me, they could get 20 years in jail, and they'll get it. I'll tell you, there's going to be no leniency, and there'll be no pardons. I can tell you that right
And you
now.
said this morning 20 years in jail, and then maybe you said this morning 20 years in jail, and then maybe they'll go to one of these prisons in El Salvador. Do you think with the way that the judges have been issuing injunctions, it would be easier or harder to send these Tesla domestic terrorists to a jail in El Salvador than these MS-13 or Tren de Aragua guys?
Well, I view these people as terrorists just like others. These are, when I looked at those showrooms burning and those cars, not one or two, like 7, 8, 10 burning, exploding all over the place. These are terrorists. You didn't have that on January 6th, I can tell you. You didn't have anything like that on January 6th, which is sort of amazing because on January 6th, the Democrats were talking. Nobody was killed other than a very beautiful young woman, Ashley Babbitt. Nobody was killed. And you look at what's going on now with these terrorists. These are terrorists, and that's an organized event. You know, take a look at their signs. Take a look. They're all made by the same sign company. A nice, expensive job. Now, these are the people that finance it are, in my opinion, in just as big a trouble as the people that are setting the match and setting the fires. So we'll see. It's under very serious investigation by the FBI and by the Justice Department. These people are terrorists.
Mr. President, you mentioned a deal with Ukraine.
Mr. President, what do you say to American military families who are seeing Elon Musk at the Pentagon today, are hearing about Defense Department cuts, and their thoughts are immediately going to the safety of their loved ones who are currently deployed?
Well, we're making our country strong. And when they see a thing like that and they hear that story about Elon and China, what they should do is realize that the New York Times is a corrupt institution, because I think they're the ones. They knew that story wasn't true. Nobody believed that story. People that, when I first called, they laughed when they heard the story. Nobody believed it, that the Pentagon was giving him a briefing on what war with China would look like, and he has business in. No, they made that up because it's a good story to make up. They're very dishonest people. I have it with the Times, and you'll see more and more of it. To me, it's a very, very dishonest organization. But a story like that is made up. It's total fiction. And I just wanted to make sure. I called up Chief of Staff and I called up Pete. And I said, is there any truth to that? Absolutely not. He's there for Doge, not there for China. And if you ever mention China, I think he'd walk out of the room. He wouldn't take it anyway. So it's just a made up story. Nobody's taking better care of the military. One of the things that I know that Pete's doing is he's talking about a lot of the civilian staff, and we're going to get them other jobs. You know, we're going to have a lot of jobs in this country, but we don't want to have wasteful jobs. We want to have meaningful jobs. And those were wasteful jobs. Those are jobs that not only military, but jobs where people don't show up. You take a look at Department of Education. I've never seen so many buildings with the names on it. You go past one after another Department of Education, and they're empty. The people don't show up. You know why? Because they have other jobs, because they're playing golf, or they're playing something, they're doing something. And we have a lot of great people, but we have to move that back to the States. We're going to make our country strong, and we're going to get people much better jobs, because we have companies moving into our country, the likes of which we've never seen before. Nothing like this has happened. And it's automatic. They don't want to pay the tariffs. How do you avoid paying the tariffs? You build your plant in the United States, and it's a beautiful thing to see. I see it. So far, I would say $4 trillion. Nobody's ever heard of them. No country's ever heard of numbers like that. $4 trillion, and those are the best ones. The biggest, best chip maker in the world. I'm not a fan of the CHIP Act, where you give billions of dollars away to companies that don't need it, and it won't bring them here. I'm giving nothing away. All they're doing is coming here, they're building because they want to avoid. Remember this on the tariffs too, because that's going to be, Liberation Day, April 2nd. It's reciprocal. If they charge us, we charge them. So somebody say, well, how much are the tariffs? Very fair. If India, as an example, has been very bad to us on tariffs, they charge 100%, 200%, whatever they charge. Now, Europe just announced they're lowering the tariffs on cars. We charge like a joke, 2.5%. That's what this country charges. Europe just announced that they're reducing their tariffs on cars to 2.5%. It's nice. But they also have non-monetary tariffs where they make it impossible for the cars to get in even without the dollars on them and the dollar signs. It's called a non-monetary tariff, where they put on controls where no matter what happens, because they don't want cars, they don't want the American car in their market. And yet they send us millions of cars, they send us big agriculture, they don't want our agriculture, they don't want anything from us. European Union's very tough, but now it's fair. So whatever they do to us, we do to them.
Mr. President, you mentioned
as Russia continues to attack Ukraine, are you planning to impose any sort of sanctions?
Well, they're fighting against each other. Yeah, I think we're going to have, we have a ceasefire on a lot of areas, and so far that's all held very well. And getting that ceasefire, you know, they had a lot of guns pointing at each other. You had some soldiers, unfortunately, surrounded by other soldiers, and they are going to be, I believe we're going to pretty soon have a full ceasefire, and then we're going to have a contract. And the contract's being negotiated, the contract in terms of dividing up the lands, et cetera, it's being negotiated as we speak.
What do you say to critics who say that your actions towards law firms amount to coercion?
Well, the law firms all want to make deals. You mean the law firms that we're going after, that went after me for 4 years, ruthlessly, violently, illegally? You mean, are those the law firms you're talking about? But they're not babies, they're very sophisticated people. Those law firms did bad things. They went after me for years. Russia hoax, all a hoax. It was a hoax. It was Hunter Biden's laptop. It didn't come out of Russia, by the way. It was came out of his bedroom. It was all a hoax, developed by Democrats. Hillary, I don't think Biden did, because I don't think Biden knows what the hell he's doing, frankly, based on everything I see. I've seen things since being here that are so sad, what he's done to this country, what he and they did to this country, those people that surrounded him, who, by the way, are radical left but smart. He's not smart, he was never smart. But these are radical left, smart people. They totally controlled him. He did whatever they told him to do. And it's a shame. It's so sad to see what happened, what they've done to this country, both not only the inflation you saw, but allowing millions and millions of criminals into our country. That's an inexcusable act. And many other things besides that. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, can we talk one more question on Ukraine? Why do you want to control Ukraine's power plants, sir?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. So we had President Trump announcing that Boeing will make the next generation fighter jet, and then he took questions for like 45 minutes. And you know, sorry, right as he started to speak, there was a little bit of an audio issue. So I just wanted to play you guys again, maybe like the first 2 minutes. So let me just play right when he started, before he even got to the Boeing thing. He made a couple quick announcements. So let's just see like the first 2 minutes, his quick announcements there that he made right at the start. Okay? This is I'm just going to play like the first 2 minutes.
Education, which is being...
Here. All right. Here's when he was talking.
Just wanted to start by saying we had a meeting yesterday on the Department of Education, which is being moved. We're going to educate the children in their states where they can get a proper education. The numbers are horrible the way it is, and we're going to make a move that's very big. I don't think it's even risky a little bit. I think it's going to be amazing. It should have been done years ago. They've been talking about doing it for many years, but nobody ever got it off. But we did. And there was great excitement and great acceptance of it by almost everybody, including a lot of Democrats, actually. I do want to say that I've decided that the SBA, the Small Business Administration, headed by Kelly Loeffler, is a terrific person, will handle all of the student loan portfolio. We have a portfolio that's very large, lots of loans, tens of thousands of loans, pretty complicated deal. And that's coming out of the Department of Education immediately, and it's going to be headed up by Kelly Loeffler at SBA, and they're all set for it. They're waiting for it. It'll be serviced much better than it has in the past. It's been a mess. And also, Bobby Kennedy, the Health and Human Services, will be handling special needs and all of the nutrition programs and everything else. Rather complex, but that's going to be headed by and handled by Health and Human Services. So I think that'll work out very well. Those two elements will be taken out of the Department of Education, and then all we have to do is get the students to get guidance from the people that love them and cherish them, including their parents, by the way, who will be totally involved in their education along with the boards and the governors and the states. And it's going to be a great situation. I guarantee that in a few years from now, I hope I'm going to be around to see it, but I think we're going to see a lot of it. I think that you're going to have tremendous results. You're going to have results like Norway, Sweden, Denmark, a lot of the countries that do so well. I think you're going to have a lot of those results. If you look at Iowa and Indiana and Idaho, so many places that run so well, Florida, Texas, big ones, you're going to have great education, much better than it is now at half the cost. And we're not even doing it as a cost item, although you will save probably half, maybe more than that. And you're not going to be at the bottom of the list. You're going to be much higher. And maybe you'll be, I will guarantee some of the states will be at the top of the list. They'll be comparable or better than these number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 the countries that are in the top 5 positions. So that's, to me, it's very exciting, and it's been received very well. So I just wanted to tell you about the student loans and special needs. But we're here for a reason.
Okay, that's the part I want to replay just to make sure we heard that. So the main announcement he made was awarding Boeing the contract for the next generation fighter jet. And then he answered questions for a while. So I want to take your comments on the air. One thing I want to say is very frequently when I mention a story about something that's going to happen, I always get somebody saying, that's a terrible source, that source is fake news, that source is fake news. Let's give it up for Reuters. Reuters had this right. They had it right since last night. They were the only ones who had the story. Last night they were the only ones saying that this announcement is going to be about the new fighter jet. And then right before the announcement, what did they say? They were the only ones that had this. Trump awards Boeing much needed win with fighter jet contract, sources say. So they had it right last night and they had it right this morning. I mean, they had it right before the announcement on both of those things. And also, just before the announcement, the Wall Street Journal said it was going to be about the fighter jets too. So, I always hear people yelling about how they never get anything right. Well, they had it right. So give it up for them. Okay. Anyways, that being said. All right. So what did you guys think about the announcement? What did you think about the press conference? There was an interesting answer to me. Someone asked a question about these, I believe, hundreds of people that were deported without the usual due process to El Salvador with the claim that they were gang members. And somebody asked the question something like, there's families of some of these people that say they were not gang members. So can you tell us someone to assure they are gang members? And President Trump said his answer included saying that there is a vetting process, but that the process will continue in El Salvador. He did multiple times said the vetting process will continue in El Salvador, which I thought was interesting that he would say that. Anyways, so let me take some comments from you. What did you guys think about this press conference? We're going to take some comments right here. And it wasn't an official press conference. It was about half an hour of answering questions. So it was in essence like an impromptu press conference. And what did you think about the Boeing announcement? We're going to take comments from you guys, and I want to read some on the air. Okay. And I know most people, we did a poll before. Most people thought that Boeing, who voted in our poll, thought that Boeing was not going to get the contract. Our viewer Sam Bino says it was interesting as always. Joe says F-47 is going to be very advanced aircraft. He did again say that more tariffs are coming on April 2nd. He calls it Liberation Day. April 2nd. One of our viewers said, "Who lobbied for Boeing?" I have no idea how that process works. Benny Hill says it was interesting to witness. Oh, Ed, I don't know if this has anything to do with it. Ed Gain, our viewer, says it's the F-47 and it's the 47th president. Is that why it's called F-37? I do not know. F-47, I do not know. One of our viewers didn't like journalists yelling questions. TJ Adams says journalists yelling questions is like nails on a chalkboard to me. Snarf McGrew says, is F-47 a good name? Brian Z thinks it should have been Lockheed Martin higher quality. Scarlett says, why do we need new fighter jets? Well, I mean, this is something that's done, technology changes over time. So, I mean, one argument would be you don't want to fall behind other countries if they are developing new weapons. I believe this is supposed to be basically, from what Reuters said, a follow-up to the F-22. The F-22 was manufactured from 1996 to 2011. It made its first flight on 1997, 27 years ago. That's the F-22. Yeah, I mean, the Reuters article says that this will replace the F-22. So, I mean, these planes, the F-22 planes, have been flying for almost 30 years. Dan Dorschner says that is their job to ask questions. Hipstag Studio says, wonder how many variants of these F-47s. Brian Z says it's the stealth replacement for F-22. Real quick, I want to say a quick thanks for your support. Thank you to MAGA since 1942, Stevie Augie 1992, Babelicious, Mama 457 Rose, Inked Patriot, Crazy Yoda, Robert Jackson. Robert thinks the F-47 kind of looks like an upgraded Boeing YF-118G from 1996. Thanks, Robert Jackson. This is a Boeing bird of prey. You can look this up on Wikipedia. Boeing bird of prey. It was developed in the 1990s, an American black project aircraft intended to demonstrate stealth technology. Do they have a page for the F-47 now? Looks like a new page maybe on Wikipedia, F-47. Here's the picture. Here's what it looked like in the hold on. I'll show you what it looked like in the announcement. So if we do this, there's the picture right there. Kind of hard to see much about it in that picture. Also, thanks to Inked Patriot, Jan Eric Edvardsen for your support, Martin Gingrich, and Douthis, thanks for the gift sub, and thanks Slim Fozzie for subscribing. Also, thanks to Cal Sinhas 21 for subscribing on Twitch, and Real Change for the bits. Also, Marin Gobra, thank you for subscribing. And Flumpingtons, thanks for the bits. Oh, I'm late on some thank yous over there on Twitch. But there is the picture. I was wondering, was the F-35 named? Hold on. The 35th president was John F. Kennedy. My guess is that since the F-35 was manufactured starting in 2006, it was not named after the president who started it. Thank you also to Missy. Missy thinks there's already an F-47 plane? Is there? I do not know this. I just have to Google it. That's what Missy claims. Thank you, Missy. When I look up Google, there's a Republic P-47. I'm not an aviation expert, so. I thought it was interesting when he was asked, President Trump, about the JFK files. He said, I don't think there's anything that's earth-shattering. He did say that. Thank you, MAGA since 1492. I think I said 1942 before. Sorry. Arctic Sky Aviation says, I'm shocked he didn't say SpaceX was going to build the new plane. Let me show you something a little more about that. Oh, some flights will resume. Hey, I have an update about Heathrow. Update about Heathrow Airport. One moment. One moment here. I have two updates for you. First of all, Intel Point Alert pointed this out, that there is a current, is this still happening? Hold on. I want to talk about Austin Airport for a second. Some airport updates. Where's the Austin one? Austin Airport is AUS. Well, I just went to the national airspace status, and they don't seem to have one anymore. Well, I'm not seeing it there now. There had been a ground stop, I guess, of some sort. Intel Point Alert posted this. It said because of staffing, and then CBS News, I think Austin posted something about this. Hold on a second. CBS Austin had said the FAA issued a temporary ground stop for flights arriving at Austin Bergstrom International Airport from Houston airspace. It is reportedly due to staffing constraints. But I'm looking at the National Airspace System status. There's nothing for Austin there. I don't see one there. Anyways, I'm not going to worry about that right now. But Heathrow Airport, let me give you an update on that. Heathrow has been closed today because of a fire at a nearby substation. Heathrow, the busiest airport in Europe. But breaking news from Heathrow Airport while Trump was speaking, our teams have worked tirelessly since the incident to ensure a speedy recovery. We are now safely able to restart flights, prioritizing repatriation and relocation of aircraft. Please do not travel to the airport unless your airline has advised you to do so. We hope to run a full operation tomorrow and will provide further information shortly. So, breaking news. Heathrow Airport says they can restart flights. They are prioritizing, I guess, relocation of aircraft and repatriation of aircraft, and they're hoping to run a full operation tomorrow. That's something. Ruth Krafasi says, great news. I mean, the whole thing just closed with basically no notice. I mean, it wasn't known days in advance that was going to happen. Thank you to Missy, I saw your note. Thank you, Missy. Thanks, Missy, for your note. And MAGA since 1492. Oh, by the way, Missy mentioned this. I don't even know about this. In Wikipedia, it says the P-47 was redesignated the F-47 after 1947. So this was also known as this is a fighter bomber. Was it known as the F-47 for a while? I don't know. Anyways, read about it on Republic P-47 Thunderbolt over there on Wikipedia. Speaking of that, I want to go back for a second and mention this Boeing story. Look right here. Right here. Eyeing China threat, Trump announces Boeing wins contract for secretive future fighter jet. He announced that today. By the way, thanks so much to our moderators, Cynthia Moon, Beth Mythical, Ruth Krafasi. Really appreciate it. Linda Belk, Larry, Misha on X, over there on Twitch, Bastion Girl, I Got That Fire, Matthew, Kohai 3, McBritches, and Surly Dev, thank you. Also our Facebook moderators. Kay Lowry, Body, Margaret Riley, thank you. Our viewer, Chris McVeigh, says there's no real info on the F-47 design I could find yet. Jim Varma says P-47 was known as P-47. P stood for pursuit, was not known as F-47. F being fighter. You can see AP says, President Trump announced today that Boeing will build the Air Force's future fighter jet, which the Pentagon says will have stealth and penetration capabilities that far exceed those of its current fleet and is essential in a potential conflict with China. Known as Next Generation Air Dominance, or NGAD, the manned jet will serve as a quarterback to a fleet of future drone aircraft. It's going to fly with drone aircraft. Wow. And designed to be able to penetrate the air defenses of China and other potential foes. The initial contract to proceed with production is worth an estimated $20 billion. Trump said it would be named the F-47. The chief of staff of the Air Force said, we're going to write the next generation of modern aerial warfare with this. It's just interesting, this idea that you have to figure out what kind of weapons you're going to need in the future when technology is always changing, and try to figure out what warfare is going to look like or what you need to build given the uncertainty about what warfare will look like. Critics have questioned the cost and the necessity of the program, as the Pentagon is still struggling to fully produce its current most advanced jet, the F-35, which is expected to cost taxpayers more than $1.7 trillion over its lifespan. In addition, the Pentagon's future stealth bomber, the B-21 Raider, will have many of the same cutting-edge technologies and advanced materials, AI, propulsion, and stealth. More than 1,100 F-35s have already been built for the U.S. and multiple international partners. A fleet of about 100 future B-21 stealth bombers at an estimated cost of at least $130 billion is also planned. The first B-21 aircraft are now in test flights. Here's a little analysis here. With evolving drone and space warfare likely to be the center of any fight with China, drone and space warfare, Dan Grazier, a military procurement analyst, questions whether another exquisite manned fighter jet really is the right platform going forward. He said $20 billion is just seed money. The total cost coming down the road will be hundreds of billions of dollars. Few details of what the new fighter would look like have been public, although Trump said early versions have been conducting flight tests for the last 5 years. Renderings by both Lockheed Martin and Boeing have highlighted a flat, tailless aircraft with a sharp nose. A separate Navy contract for its version of the NGAD fighter is still under competition between Northrop Grumman and Boeing. That's interesting. Oops. Now I have to do this. Where is it here? Last year, the Biden administration's Air Force Secretary ordered a pause on the NGAD program to review if the aircraft was still needed, or if the program needed to be modified to reflect the past few years of warfighting advances. That review examined what a conflict with China would look like with NGAD and then without it, and determined that NGAD was still needed. Then the Air Force Secretary for the Biden administration left the decision on which firm would build the fighter jet to the upcoming Trump administration. An official said NGAD will bring an entirely different level of low observability. It will have a much longer range than the F-35 or other current fighter jets, so it will require less refueling. A future unmanned version of NGAD also is planned as the Pentagon improves AI for the aircraft. Interesting. That's a little background there from AP. Jay Hitchcock says, my father is a retired aerospace engineer, and military and contracts did not even acknowledge that stealth was possible until after we were already using the planes. New Brunswick, Canada guy says, do not worry, everyone. The tariffs will pay for the F-47. TJ Adams says, F-47 will be manned. Its companion will not be. It will be a drone. NorCal Jim says drones have taken over the modern battlefields. Cost is low. Definitely is the future. There was a Michael Kaufman, who's an expert on Ukrainian and Russian militaries, posted a couple days ago a thread, a long thread about where the Ukraine-Russia conflict is at right now. And he did say, and I've seen other reports saying things like this, he said that the drones have really taken over the defense for Ukraine. Where is it here? He said drones are responsible for over 60% of the daily Russian casualties at this point and are the principal means of stopping attacks in combination with mining and artillery. Yeah, they've just taken on a huge role. Evelyn in Maine says, I've heard that too. Truth WSYF thinks there's absolutely no need for manned aircraft anymore. And Ukraine is using a lot of its own drones now, I believe. I think I read an article about that a couple weeks ago. We'll take a few more comments here. Let me just see if I have any more updates on anything here. And if there's big news later today, we will cover it. There could be big news on other topics. I'm just going through here to make sure I didn't miss any big updates. Thanks so much, Crazy Yoda, who says maybe this jet will be capable of flying pilotless as well. Yeah, the AP article suggested they were working on an unmanned version. A future unmanned version of NGAD is also planned as the Pentagon improves the AI for the aircraft, the official said. Maybe there will be. Maybe they can take a bunch of the technology and transform it over to transfer to an unmanned version. Checking some of the other comments people have sent in as well. Amy Rebecca had sent me. I don't remember what exact time Trump started speaking. I could probably tell you this. I can look it up. Aviation Week had posted a story at I think 11. When was this? 11:40 a.m. saying that Boeing had gotten the contract. That was well after the Reuters version. I think Reuters posted theirs around 11:15 But when Trump started speaking today, it was, I'm looking it up. No, because he started speaking at 11:32. Yes, 11:37, he'd already made the announcement. So I don't see evidence that Aviation Week had it in advance. But maybe they did, I don't know. But at least from the post I was sent. Let's see here. Oh, you know, I didn't even see this. Carter Johnson, I just saw this right now. I want to give a shout out. Navalnews.com, which I am not familiar with. It's a website. Looks like a naval news website. Also, they have like 60,000 followers on X. Maybe it's well known. That's just, it's not really my field, you know. Anyways, navalnews.com, one of their reporters had written to me earlier, Carter Johnston, and said, I have also received confirmation the U.S. Will be, that Hegseth and Trump would be revealing the fighter jet winner at this announcement today. So thanks so much to Carter for writing in before. I just saw that. All right. I think Keith Mouthley says, since Boeing is building it, I wonder once it reaches its destination, will it be able to return? So, you know, it's interesting. It is interesting that one of the viewers was mentioning this earlier about the Air Force One thing. Because Boeing is working on Air Force One. There are reports that President Trump is not happy with the delays with Air Force One, the new Air Force One. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find that for you. Hang on a moment. Yes. Look, I'm going to show you something right now. I just saw it. If I can pull it up here. This is interesting. Is this here? Why is this not loading? There. Why is it? I have a link to a story and the link is not working, and I want to show you the story. Here, I can show you this right here. Trump says, so this is an AP story. This is reported multiple places. It's about what Trump said. This is from February. Trump says he's considering buying used planes to serve as Air Force One amid Boeing delays. President Trump said, this is back in February, about a month ago, he is considering buying used Boeing aircraft to use as Air Force One when he's bored, as he fumes over the U.S. plane maker's delays in producing 2 specially modified ones for presidential use. Speaking to reporters, Trump said, we're looking aboard one of 2 nearly 35-year-old Air Force Ones in use. He said, we're looking at alternatives because it's taking Boeing too long. It's taking Boeing too long. So it's interesting that he wasn't so mad at Boeing that he didn't decide that he ruled them out for this contract, the F-47 contract. Smoogle says maybe he was convinced. Maybe he was convinced in another way. I have no idea how all this works. I'm sure it's a long process they go through before this choice is made. So I can't say how the choice was made for Boeing. Obviously, it's a big deal for the companies involved. All right, it may be our time. It may be our time. I think. So we have been bringing you this announcement. And we also got to see some Q&A from President Trump. If you missed it, you can rewind and play the whole thing. But I think we have done what we came here to do, to cover this announcement. And we took a bunch of your comments on the air. And we have been giving you some updates about other stories. So I appreciate you joining us for our coverage. And if there's big news later today, we'll come on the air and cover it. Oh, thanks, MAGA, since 1492 for your support. Thank you. So thank you guys for coming. Again, I'm sure we'll have more news coverage soon. So if you like the coverage, subscribe and follow Agenda Free TV. We cover all kinds of live breaking news without an agenda, Agenda Free TV. And turn the notifications on so you know when we're going live, because I don't know when big news is going to happen. We have free notifications. They work awesome. We do it through Discord. We set it up ourselves. You sign up once and you get sent a notification right before we go live every single time. Works awesome. The link, the mods will post the link in the chat. You can also find that link in our description of this video on YouTube and Facebook. But make sure you sign up for the notifications. And I will post updates, news updates during the day, as I always do, on my X account, which is @Lookner. Follow me over there on X for breaking news updates. I'm always posting over there. And let's shout out our moderators, because they are the ones who make it possible for us to have chat rooms. It wouldn't be the channel without the chat rooms. So, we can have those thanks to our moderators. So thank you so much to our moderators for being here today. Over there on YouTube, people like Beth Mythical, Ruth Krafasi, BZ. I think Sabrina was over there. We've had a bunch of moderators over there. Thank you all of our YouTube moderators. On X, Linda Belk, Larry, Misha, Kay Lowry Body, Margaret Riley over there on Facebook. And all of our other Facebook moderators, our Twitch moderators, Bash and Girl, Matthew Kohai 3, McBritches, Surly Dev, Tariag. Thank you to all of our moderators. And thanks to you guys for letting me read your comments on the air, for writing in with news updates and comments and questions. Also, huge thanks to everybody who donated. That's super nice of you guys. You are the ones, your support is what keeps this channel on the air. So thank you so much for supporting the channel, letting it exist. I think I thanked everybody during the broadcast. If you ever want to donate, you go to agendafree.tv, agendafree.tv. But huge thanks for your support. Also, we do have a chat. You can chat with other viewers when we're not live in our Discord chat. It's free. Check it out. The link is the same as the notifications link. Thanks so much to our Discord mods for all you do. And also, another great way to find out when we're going live, for those of you who are on X a lot, is to follow us on X. I always post there before we're going on the air. I post updates about the channel over on X, @AgendaFreeTV on X. Also, for those of you who watch on YouTube, I would recommend turning on the YouTube notifications. It's another helpful way to find out when we're live. but it's a little funky to turn on the YouTube notifications. What you got to do is, well, first you got to subscribe to the channel over on YouTube. And then once you're subscribed to the channel, make sure you do this. You got to click the bell and then choose all notifications. So activate the bell and choose all notifications over there if you watch on YouTube. Thank you to Paul Anderson was moderating too. Thank you, Paul Anderson. Thanks to our Facebook subscribers for supporting the channel. Robert Real II, Lou Green, Eve Richards, Michael Clayton, Kay Lowry Body, Margaret Riley, Sharon Klassen Goslin, Erin Van S, and all of our other Facebook subscribers. Thank you. Our Twitch subscribers, shout out to you. Douthis, Slim Fozzie, Kai Sinhas 21, Marin Gobra, Massachusetts guy, Well Don't That Beat All, Jack's Animals, Billy Joe, Geeg, Chi-Town Bear, Douthis, Matthew Kohai 3. Thank you, subscribers. EJ Rod 31, Love Francis 2, all of our other subscribers there, and also our YouTube members. Thanks for all of your support. Roger Shoemaker, Fuzzball Factory, Pat W, JK Cinar, Evelyn in Maine, CAC 813, Buffalo Women, Chris N, Tina Marie, Ethereal Planet, NY Committee, Jane Jones, Chemo, Benny Hill, Not Banksy, Wickedest Witch, Cogito Ergo Sum, if I'm pronouncing that right. It's Latin, right? I think. I don't know how to pronounce it in Latin. Sum or sum? I don't know. Somebody can say in the chat, maybe. Irish Sweetness, thanks for being a member. Per Holstrand, Albert Esses. Sum? Pansy thinks it's Sum. CAC says, it's I think, therefore I am. Do you think if I ask like Chat GPT how to pronounce it, it'll get it right? Also, thanks to all of our other viewers. It's now Chat GPT claims it is soon. That's what Chat GPT claims. Anyways. A couple viewers asked about Iran. I haven't heard about some huge new breaking news about Iran today. I'll certainly keep an ear out. Keep an eye on the headlines. Oh, by the way, I just saw something. British Airways says, we have been given clearance by Heathrow to depart 8 of our long-haul flights today from 7 p.m. Hey, that's good news. We are now urgently contacting customers to let them know they can make their way to the airport from 5 p.m. The only customers who should make their way to the airport are these 8 flights. Well, it's good that they're getting planes out of there today, getting planes flying again. after the fire at the nearby substation caused the airport to close today. Thank you to our other viewers as well. Heidi, thank you. Jameson, Megan Nicole. All right, we're wrapping this up. Myrna Wheel, Shopangle, Guy from the 207, Pezzy, Paula Thompson, Matt Kinney, Stasha Morgan, Jasmine Beatty, Chris McVeigh. All right, it is time. It is our time to wrap this up. Oh, some people, yes, real quick here, real quick. People mentioned an earthquake in Iran earlier. Was it today or yesterday? But I wanted to mention that and say something about it. Right here. There's a report I just saw that says 8 hours ago from Reuters, magnitude 5 earthquake struck the area in central Iran, Natanz, where a key nuclear site is located. But state media says that the facility was not affected. So that's what state media is saying. There is that their facility was not affected. That's the one comment I'll put forward about that. All right. On that note, it's time. Hey, guys, thank you for being here. If there's big news later today, we will jump on the air and cover it. Really appreciate you being here for the coverage. That is it for now, and we'll see you soon with more live breaking news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.